Hey there, hey there, hey there. I'm gonna go over some random ideas. Are you ready? Alright, now just give me just a moment. Alright, here we go. Alright, the first one. A paper weight. A paper white perk tree that grows cotton candy and tastes super sweet. Hey, we can have that in we can have that like in the realm of sweets. We can have that like Hershey, Pennsylvania. Wait, is Hershey, Pennsylvania, named after candy company? Yeah, maybe I better change that. Anyway, it's gonna be, this kingdom of sweets that, is hidden in like, a certain place. And there's gonna be like, there's gonna be, it's gonna come attacked by an evil dentist. You see, I was a big fan of Costume Quest 2 for that, but that's a little bit different. Anyway, enough tangents. Next one. The strange dimension made out of buttery lakes and giant waffles and buttery baddies. No, buttery baddies. Oh no, it's gonna be Buttery Pat from, the Tick. Oh no, it's gonna be the Red Bastard. No. Anyway, next idea. A giant black rat that's chewing on a skull in the darkness in a deep dungeon. Hey, it's a skull eater. Wait, what? Wait a minute, this is a rat, not a squirrel. Yeah, skull eaters are very, very dangerous, but this kind of reminds me of those rats, in Twilight Princess, yeah. They're often trying skulls. They probably want to take a bite out of, Link. Anyway, next idea. A pink flamingo girl that is a dancer of water and a magician of water magic show. Hey, I've seen one of those. I remember that back when I went to Branson. Yeah, Branson is sort of like, one of those tourist trap areas, but, a bit like, Florida's full of, but it's kind of like, the one that, is in my, in a certain state that I've been to. Anyway, next one. A strolling giant mushroom that spews out spores that cause mushrooms to grow in your head and make you go nuts. Wait a minute, that's just an enemy from Earthbound. What are you doing? Well, I am gonna probably add that to the video game world because mushrooms do kind of play a big part in that. Because of Mario. Oh no, Mario! Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think Mario would like to do those particular shrooms. I think those would be a little worse than the poison mushrooms, I think. Alright, next idea. A giant caterpillar with a humanoid female upper body that attacks that by spewing poison laced silk threading. Hey, it's got poison thread, just like Aridos. It also kind of reminds me of the caterpillars, in Lost Kingdoms. By the way, you guys should play Lost Kingdom. By the way, if you guys get a chance to play Lost Kingdoms, it's like a really old RPG by, FromSoft. Back before they, were known for Dark Souls, and, they made a card battle game, like on the GameCube. They made two of them, and then they never, revisited that. It was kind of the more experimental era before, they became, known for Dark Souls. Anyway, next idea, but I'm going off on a tangent again, so next idea. A young woman in a coffin surrounded by white lilies that transform into a butterfly and departs to the heaven after a funeral service is concluded. Butterflies are said to, be connected to the soul and all that. Now, of course, lilies just make me think of, lilies. Alright, next idea. A mad writer who creates twisted stories that became dimensions with which he intends to destroy the world with the madness of his sin. Some say he stole a legendary quill that could erase and create worlds at will. Now, I think this might have been an early prototype for, the Lenient Sid villain that I came up with, Citaro. I did kind of, go through that idea, but this one sounds pretty cool and unique. I kind of like it, too. I might decide to do something with it. Though I'm not sure where to place it in the lore, basically. Alright, now, another one. A stinky cheese wedge-headed white humanoid creature riding on a flaming wheel of Gouda cheese. Wow, that's a spicy cheese. Run as fast as you can. You can't catch me in a stinky cheese, man. Alright, now, next idea. A dirty but very sexy dust bunny girl that is a complete slob, but yet a charming looker. Hey, didn't I go over this in an earlier one? Wait, I remember this was an old, right? This one actually is older than that one, yeah. Alright, this list of random ideas is actually older than the other one, so I am, been thinking about that one. I was wanting to make it like, dust manipulation, yeah. Yeah, dust bunnies, are the thing, I would think of, yeah. Anyway, another one. A giant rolling iron ball pillbug warrior attacks by rolling into a ball and using spikes on its body to pierce and squish people. No, it's a giant pillbug. Oh no! No. It kind of reminds me of those pillbug monsters, in your Riviera Promised. Only, obviously, without its spikes. And also, those things had, beams that could turn you to stone, yeah. Anyway, next idea. A bug-obsessed madman who has a hive-like head and who is a former bug scientist turned supervillain that created an experimental pheromone to control insects, which allows him to command them in any way he wishes. Hey, I like this idea. That sounds pretty cool, yeah. We can have yet another mad scientist. Why not? I mean, having a mad scientist, whose thing is, bugs is already in the lore, but, I could, make this. Anyway, I'll see you later, yeah. I'll see you later. Remember to fly like bat and shine like the moon. For weirder stuff dreams are made of. Yeah, after all, we fairies are the products of, tulpomancy. We're descended from tulpomancies we're descended from tulpas that, gain sentience, you see. Then we became our own people, and now here we are. Isn't that wonderful?